Okay, come here, I got something to show you. What we have here is a Remington Model 11 shotgun, 12 gauge. This gun was manufactured in 1924. So for those of you out there who are saying, holy crap, this gun is almost 100 years old, let me assure you that it does just fine in the field. In fact, I went on a little pheasant hunt with my dog Macy the other day, and we brought in 4. So from a functionality perspective, it is just a real honey. This is a recoil operated shotgun, and by that I mean there's a spring in here that takes the energy of the barrel, which moves back and then ejects the shell, and then as the spring moves forward, another shell is brought in. Might be able to take that apart a little bit later and just show you how that works. But for now, I want to concentrate on this guy. Let me just bring you into there. In 1924, Remington was using this style of safety on the shotgun. Basically, it worked like so. When the safety was in the pushed back position, it was on safe, and then when it was pushed all the way forward like so, it was ready to fire. They referred to that as a suicide trigger because it was pretty easy for a person occasionally to have the finger slip off of here and accidentally pull the trigger. Not a very good design. And I learned also when I had it in the field that I have to wear gloves with this shotgun because when the gun actually fires and the recoil pushes it back, this little safety digs right into your finger. And after a few rounds, you've got to put a Band-Aid on. So I've been using gloves with it. I've had it for a couple of years, and I finally decided, you know what? It's time to get that thing out of there and put a different trigger in. That is why we are using this guy. Now this guy has the crossbolt style. That's the type of safety that most people are familiar with. And what we're going to do today is we're going to swap this trigger out for this trigger. Hopefully there won't be any real mishaps involved. I think, based on the design of each that I've looked at, they should swap out pretty easily. Not 100% sure if the stock's going to fit yet, but we'll find that out as we go along. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is take off the stock. That has a screw back here, and I want to show you this, see if I can get it in close enough where you can actually see that screw. There is a secondary locking screw that goes into place here, and you'll see it pretty much all over the gun. There are a number of spots where we have these locking screws. As I look a little closer at some of these screws, it looks to me as though these have been, shall we say, effed with, and my guess is that this trigger has been out before. Maybe it's not the original trigger. We'll take a look at it as we start taking this apart, and we'll know a little bit better as we go. This little screw right here, that does not come out. I'll show you on the new trigger what that holds. You can see right here that screw is in place, and what that holds is this little spring here. So you don't want to take that one out, just the back one. We'll do that next. We'll get that stock off of there. Okay, we're going to go in just a little bit more here. We're going to take a look at these screws. Now the next thing I have to do, I have 2 things that have to come out. This back screw has to come out, and then this looks like a screw, but on these Remington Model 11 shotguns, this is actually a pin from what I understand. The Brownings, the Auto 5, which is what this is designed, this is basically the Browning design. The Brownings are screws. This is supposedly a pin. We're going to find that out right now as I bring it out, and we'll see what we're dealing with here. I am not 100% sure if this is the original trigger, although I'm looking here at a serial number 270994. 270994. It is the original trigger. Well, that's good news. So apparently someone who didn't have the best tools took this out and kind of banged it up a little bit. We're going to coax it out with a punch and very gently, and we'll see if we can't get that guy to come out. Okay, let's get you over like so, and get a little hammer. A little tap in there. Yeah, it's coming right out. There we go. Out she comes. There's the pin. Now we got to go back and do this guy. This has got quite a few scratches in it. I think that this thing has been out several times before, and I just want to make sure I've got the right one. It could actually be a little bigger. Let's see if we can't get something. That looks a little better. And we'll take this guy out now. These screws have quite a few burrs on them, and the one locking screw looked like it had been burnished. Alright, I'm going to take this out, and here it is. Now, I will put this back into the cocked position so you can see it. These both look pretty identical. I'll back this out so we can put the two of them together. Now, this is the old trigger, the original that was in it. This is the one that we're going to put in it. This has the crossbolt safety, like I was mentioning earlier. And hopefully, this will be a one-for-one fit. It's supposed to fit that way, but we're going to give it a try right now. Seem to work just fine. I'm assuming that this is going to just fit the way it's supposed to, but we shall see. I have to be kind of careful with it because the butt plate has a little scratch in it, and I want to make sure that it's not a crack or anything like that. Okay, so that's in. I just have to put that locking pin back in, and for that we're going to just turn this so that it faces properly, like so. Now we can put this pin back in. This locking screw holds, essentially keeps the pin from moving. I don't know that it keeps the pin from popping out. Yeah, the more I look at these screws, the more I'm thinking that the only one that hasn't been messed with is this guy right here. Okay, so we've got that back in place. Now the next thing that we want to do is just put the stock back on. Hopefully that will travel properly. And it doesn't seem to want to. Something is holding it up. So we're going to have to check the wood on this and see what's going on with it. Okay, and looking at the stock, I'm getting a little bit of resistance right there. Hey, while I had this open, by the way, I saw that the serial number is on the back of this stock as well, on the inside here. So this is the original stock that went with it. There is no checkering on this stock, which made me wonder if it had been replaced. There's checkering on the fore end, but not the stock. So maybe the fore end was replaced. Later on, when we take that apart, we'll see if we can find a serial number on it. Okay, so we've got the stock back on. I had to do a little inletting on the bottom side here to get that tang to go in, and unfortunately it doesn't quite match up the way the old trigger did. I guess it stuck out a little more, but that's fine. I don't really care about that. So this is now is set with it's got this nice trigger here that has the safety, the crossbolt safety, and that works like a champ. So now we will take this out into the field, and by field I mean the shotgun range. We're going to run a few of the shells through it, make sure everything is working okay, that it still cycles the way it should, and that ought to do it. There was one thing else I was going to show you, and that was how this recoil action works. And in order to do that, I have to take this apart. Let me see if I can do it. Like so. And then this fore end slides off. And then the barrel comes out. Now the barrel, you see how the whole thing moves back and forth. That recoil is what is actually cycling the spent shell and then putting a new one in, and it's all based on this spring system in here. So I can set that back into place and pop this guy right back on again, and she'll be ready to go. There we are. Okay. That ought to do it for this one. We'll see you on the next video.